Not media, I'm part of the, yeah, so I'm just live streaming. Yes.
On your YouTube channel.
Yes. Zoom, some people are joining online, so Zoom and YouTube together.
That's nice.
Thank you. How about you?
We procrastination.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it TV or FM radio?
Radio, TV.
Okay.
We're actually in upstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Well done.
Thank you. The media
Two
team.
people.
She can start at me. They will wait. I will. I finished now. Who are we waiting for? Which of that is person are we waiting? Everybody. Yeah.
Ambassador Mary, we need to search, we need to get yes.
That's the issue. I always have to that's the issue. Not the. No, just the. It will not show. It will not show. It's Africa. Okay, that's what it will not show. Okay, no problem. Okay, sir. You can, yes, arrange them. See, the comfortable. You can put only the water, you don't like the water. The water is already. Wait.
I don't want to branch. I'll start the live again. I think it's showing on YouTube. It's fine. I have to accept it. So his name, Mike. I think she has Mike. Admitted. Ambassador Mary, for the one, do you choose the, what if we connect back to the other account? The other network, that network is faster because there is a delay for the user. Nancy, please give to Nancy to repeat her password. Yes. Please help me check the TV. That is it.
All right, good afternoon. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're about to kick off. All right, so good afternoon, then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's event, press conference, and global unveiling of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission event. So welcome. I'll quickly do a quick introduction to us. I will introduce everyone seated here before we hand over the podium to the president for the event conference. So we seated here. I will introduce quickly. All right, so for today, we are honored to have dignitaries seated here, but I would like to start off by introducing our president of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission in the person of Ambassador Dr. Batibi Joel, the president of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission. Welcome, sir. And then seated him, his immediate right, on his immediate right is Ambassador Architect Felix Arume. He is the Vice President Infrastructure and Partnerships of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission. Welcome, sir. And then seated next to him is Ambassador Aliyu Shoaibu, is the Vice President, Foreign Direct Investment, Industry and Trade. You're welcome, sir. To his immediate left, we have Ambassador Engineer Kingsley Okwara. He is the Head of Missions, Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission. You're welcome, sir. And then very next to me is Ambassador Phil Roberts. He is the Director of Tourism Development and Multilateral Relations. You're welcome, sir. And seated next to him is Ambassador Valentina Uchegu. She is the Director, Pan-African Youth Leadership, Diplomacy and Enterprise Development. You're welcome, ma'am. And seated next to her, I call her the Queen Mother, maybe because of the crown on her head, the size of her crown. Okay, so she is Queen Hadiza Mohammed. She's the face of Nigerian Model 2025-2026. So she goes by the title Head Queen. You're very welcome, ma'am. And my very humble self, I am Ambassador Dr. Elizabeth Emeka. I am the Director General, Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission. You're all welcome. Oh, not leaving behind a very beautiful woman seated at the far left of the president. We have Dr. Kathy of the Globe Trade. Dr. Kathy, you're welcome. And then we also have, oh my, I almost forgot the Chief of Staff, who is actually, I just missing him there. So we have the Chief of Staff seated next to the Vice President. We have the Chief of Staff, Ambassador Peter Baba Ebene. He is the Chief of Staff, Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission. And then lastly, we have the Queen, the second Queen in the house. Aren't we so blessed today? It's a house full of queens. So we have Queen Ocheku Roslyn. She is the face of Nigerian Model 2025-2026. She's the second runner-up for 2025-2026. You're most welcome. And then at the extreme end, we have Ambassador Dr. Abdulwahid Odewale. He's the Director of Strategic Security, Peace Building and Cyber Security of the Pan-African AU 2063. You're welcome, sir. All right, so immediately we're going to kick off already because we're a bit far behind schedule. Okay, so I'll quickly hand over the podium to our very amiable president of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 Diplomatic Mission, the person of Ambassador Dr. Batibi Ben-Joel, to give us his opening remarks. Okay, please, before the president begins to speak, would you just put your phones on silent? Please, members of the press, apologies to you. I also welcome the very distinguished members of the press here in the house. You're welcome.
All right. The vice presidents seated here, the head of missions, the director general, the chief of staff, and all the directors present here, distinguished ambassadors and members of the diplomatic corps, esteemed development partners and stakeholders, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this important press conference convened to officially unveil the Africa Day Celebration 2026 and the Africa Day Essay Competition. Today marks not just the announcement of an event, but the unveiling of a continental call to action, one that speaks directly to the future of Africa and the responsibility we all share in shaping it. Africa Day commemorated annually on the 25th of May because Organization of African Unity was set up on the 25th of 1963. So every 25th of May is commemorated. Stands as a powerful reminder of one rooted in unity and a shared vision for a prosperous and integrated continent. As articulated in Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. This year, the Pan-African Agenda 2063 diplomatic mission, a 3-day continental celebration from May 23rd to May 25th, 2026, here in Abuja, Nigeria. The 2026 celebration is themed Assuring Sustainable Water Availability and Safe Sanitation System to achieve the goal of Agenda 2063. This theme is not only timely, but it is urgent. Water is life, water is dignity, water is development. Yet across our continent, millions still lack access to safe drinking water and adequate sanitation. This challenge continues to affect health outcomes, education, economic productivity, and human dignity. Through this platform, we are making a clear policy statement. Africa must prioritize sustainable water availability and safe sanitation as a cornerstone of its development agenda under Agenda 2063. We therefore call on the government, development partners, and the private sector to scale up investment, innovation, and cooperation in the water sector, while empowering communities to take ownership of sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, the event will be hosted across 3 strategic locations in Abuja. In Abuja Transcorp Hilton, Abuja Jabi Lake Mall, and the ECOWAS Commission headquarters, and is expected to attract over 5,000 participants from across Africa and the global community. The program is designed as a fusion of policy engagement and cultural celebration, featuring the Africa Unity Walk, the Africa Shield Bearers, diplomatic unveiling ceremony, a webinar series on water sustainability and climate resilience, a vibrant cultural masquerade festival, Makossa Music Night, Africa History Movie Night, and the Africa Day Conference, where critical development conversations will take place. In addition to these activities, we are proud to unveil the Africa Day Essay Competition 2026, a key highlight of this year's celebration with the theme, Reimagining Africa, Lessons from History, Pathways to the Future. The competition is open to primary and secondary school students, providing a platform for young Africans to express their ideas, creativity, and vision for the continent. This initiative is designed to encourage critical thinking among young people, deepen their understanding of African history and development trajectory, inspire innovative ideas that align with the aspiration of Agenda 2063. Entries will be evaluated based on originality, clarity, and relevance will receive awards set in celebration. I think for clarity, the key details are as follows. Event Africa Day Essay Competition 2026 eligibility is primary and secondary school students. I think this is 26. Submission email gmail.com. We strongly encourage students, educators, parents, and stakeholders to support and promote participation in this initiative as it represents an investment in the future leadership of our continent. In 2026, our message is sustainable water systems are essential to achieving the vision of Agenda 2063. The Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 diplomatic mission remains committed to advancing policies, partnerships the continent. We also try and help shape a narrative of hope, responsibility, and progress for Africa. Together, we can build an Africa that is resilient, that is inclusive, and prosperous for all. Thank you for your attention. I remain Ambassador Dr. Stephen Gbati. Benjuel, the president of Pan-African AU Agenda. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that opening speech. I think one of the other things we're here for today is to inaugurate the local organizing committee for this community event. So we'll also let the floor to that.
Yeah. So, with immediate effect, really, because this is one of the things that we are meant to do, is to officially inaugurate the LOC, the Local Organizing Committee, that will be steering the ship. We have lovely, intelligent, super active diplomats that are ready to make Africa proud. And I believe we'll set a standard that the continent will be proud of. We, as the president of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063 diplomatic mission, I hereby inaugurate this committee, the LOC committee, that will be chaired by Ambassador Phil Roberts, Philip C. Onwachukwu, popularly known as Phil Roberts. Popularly known as Phil Roberts. So I think I think we are going to be, I hope I can stand, we're going to be giving the letters of inauguration, the letters of appointment as LOC as local organizing committee. Now, the LOC is cut across everyone. Some of our top executives are part of the LOC because we. And the responsibility upon you, sir, is very enormous. Africa is waiting, Africa is watching, and I believe you will make Africa proud. You make us proud. You are known as the tourism giant of this continent. We trust that you truly give direction to this. So, as this committee is inaugurated, I trust God that you will truly give leadership to this committee as the LOC chairperson. So, this is your letter of appointment as the chairperson LOC. Sign, please, so you can do that. Yeah. Thank you very much. We take a picture. Yeah. So I think some of the letters, ones that are not So, Ambassador Baba Peter MNS, one of the members of the LOC. Thank you. Ambassador Dr. Elizabeth Emeka Uchekwa, who is Director General, is also the Secretary of the LOC. And I also believe that the position of the Secretary is very, very demanding. And I believe we are up to the task to make sure that we have a befitting Africa Day 2026. Thank you. Okay. We also have our powerful head of mission. Because, like we said, we believe strongly in this Africa Day event, and all the hands that must be on deck must be our best to make sure that we bring our best. So, it's here to also act as oversight to this committee. Congratulations, sir. Our Vice President, Special Duties Infrastructure and Partnership. So, it's such a powerful portfolio. I believe that your expertise in designing the continent architecturally, your expertise in the political sphere, and your diplomatic acumen is going to allow that. Considering the fact that you believe so much in Africa. Acting also as an oversight to this committee, I believe strongly. With you in this team, a lot will happen. Congratulations. So, yeah. We also have Ambassador Shedrack Ucheji, and then Ucheji. He is the Senior Special Advisor, Partnership and Special Duty. He is also a member of the LOC. So I believe that your membership and your contribution will be invaluable. Will be so valuable that it will not be quantified. And so that's what the invaluable is. That's what I want to say. Congratulations. Sandra. Okay. Sandra. So we have Ambassador Mary Ibe of Wara. She's the Deputy Director, ICT Media and Learning System. Our capacity ICT and media director. I'm very confident that just like you will making a lot of things happen already, you will still add so much color and brightness and visibility to this community. Make sure that our activities are seen across the continent. Congratulations. Thank you. Ambassador Frank Schreiber, who is an advisor to this committee, is not here, but this letter will get to him. And in absentia, this letter will reach him. So thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. President. That will invite the LOC chairman to the podium to give us his acceptance speech.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to.
Let him just move it.
Well, that is been said. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has made it today. This is a very smart move down for Africa, and we'll do with that. Mr. David. Okay, so Your Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors and members of the diplomatic community present, representative of the African Union Agenda 2063, and leaders of the international organizations, members of the subcommittee of the LOC that are already here present who have been doing good work in that past to help us angle, and of course, His Excellency has provided the for the principal and security department. Distinguished guests, members of the board, thank you so much for coming. So, on behalf of the LOC, for Africa Day celebration, I wish to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude for the confidence that has been put on us to achieve this project to be building in the city. We are deeply honored to accept this responsibility, which is entrusted on us to deliver this main project as a local organizing committee for this prestigious event. This event, as you know, is historic and it represents more than a bit on your calendar. It represents the courage, vision, and the unity of African leaders who believe that the destiny of Africa must be shaped by Africans themselves. Today, under the guiding and the vision of our president of the Pan-African AU Agenda 2063, Africa has been placed on a new map to accept new realities for success in the continent. As local organizing committee, we are fully ready to make this year's event the biggest in Africa. Of course, we know that water is the foundation for life, health, and food security, and this is going to be a major project for water sanitation. This celebration will therefore serve as a platform for dialogue, collaboration, cultural exchange, youth empowerment, and as well serve as a collective opportunity for us to solve the problems in Africa. So on behalf of the committee, say a big thank you for coming today. This is the first phase of the project. As you can see, members who are on this table are people who have done so much with their different businesses. And I believe that today is going to be the turning point of greatness in Africa. So on behalf of the team, so thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And remember, we'll make Africa proud. God bless you.
Thank you so much, LOC Chair, for that acceptance speech on behalf of the committee of the LOC. Okay, so at this point, we would welcome questions. At this point, we would like to welcome questions.
She was not the one who called. Let's just give me some questions. So, Sandra has been here, but not when she was called, she was not around. She's the Director of Youth Development and Multilateral. So, Ambassador Sandra Edwe Ewo is one of the members of LOC. So I believe that your presence, your contribution will be so valuable in this practice. We look forward to your contribution. Thank you.
All right, so at this point, we will welcome questions from members of the press.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you. I'm Beryl Mohammed from NTA. When I saw the invitation, what came to my mind was Pan-Africanism, which has been going on for a very long time. And we don't know whether there are some past projects that you will be able to share with us, because when you look at the issue of Africa, the challenges are enormous. It's not just about provision of water or sanitation or hygiene and sanitation or human dignity or education. When you look at the kind of lives that are being touched, the impact is little. There are so many lives lost in other countries, in Sudan, Congo, even here in Nigeria. There are a lot of humanitarian challenges, and we are facing that. And then when you look at the economic status of the country, I'm glad you made a mention about investment. We see the African Free Trade Area framework as the platform that we can engage each other, especially we in the Western African Union. We can hinge on that to scale up our work and production and other things. So I wonder how this project will actually impact more on people's life. Because it's very, very very. So in particular, which angle are you trying to tackle this celebration? What comes?
I think I would like to call on Mr. President to address this question.
Well, it's we are unique in our own way, unique in the sense that we have developed major products and applications that is helping, like the Africa Free Trade we just talked about, AFCFTA. We have a supermarket place called the Pan-African Continental Supermarket Place, where we are in the center of commerce interchange as we speak, helping young entrepreneurs to be able to package, process properly, and be export ready. That is, we just didn't want to do so much of that in our speech. But that's one of the things we are doing. It's an ongoing project. When you hear some of the portfolios we have here, they are not for portfolio's sake. We have what we call the Community Peace Monitor, which was developed from the Office of the Director of Peace and Security. We have worked with a Community Peace Monitor that helps to escalate trouble. Don't forget that the first 10 years was about silencing the gun in 1963. So we're trying to see that one is truly achievable. We have the migration monitoring system, which helps to check where illegal child trafficking and real time. These are major applications. We have applications that deal with like we have something on the legislative. It helps legislators to legislate better. It's called Legiscore. So our job is to make sure that Agenda 2063 is not just on the paper, it's actually implemented. And even this water is like we already have a blueprint to make sure that major boreholes are dug. I mean, real boreholes, not just the ones that can be dragged properly, are dug in communities. It's part of what this committee is set to do. Just that we don't want to know too much of our trumpet yet. But you see, so we are here to reach out to the core of the society.
To add what the president has said, when he talked about the name Pan-African, if you look very well, this Pan-African agenda 2060. What we are basically doing is to, Agenda 2060 is a development framework for the development of the years 2063. So it has several aspirations. What we are doing is to make sure that this Agenda 2060 is being taken to the grassroots, being pushed to all the fours of Africa, so that these several aspirations would be pushed in motion. And most of the things we are doing here is to develop systems that will help take this agenda to the forwards of Africa. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. President, contributions for that response. I was quite excited when the President remembered to mention the horrible stuff. Yeah, we're talking about water, which is the theme for the year. So indeed, the whole of Africa is going to experience this horrible water provision and all of that. And we have already kicked it off here in Nigeria. So it's a huge one already. Thank you so much for that responses from you. So we'd like to welcome more questions.
Okay, so my name is Kari. I'm from the Agency of Nigeria. Recently, the Kenyan president was able to say that the AU is, in his words, not fit for purpose. That if the AU wishes to fulfill its reason for establishment in the first place, it has to urgently reform. What's your take about that?
Okay.
Well, I will say something that I believe our vice presidents or some of us will say things. Those statements might be as a result of some anger. It's not entirely correct. I want to speak on behalf of the African Union, the African Union Commission. Now, we are a non-state acting organization driving Agenda 2063, but we are privileged to see quite a number of things that is happening within the ecosystem, because the African Union ecosystem is driven by different organs, which we need to understand. The AU ECOSOC, the AU NEPAD, the African Continental Free Trade Area. And all of these things is to help the continent to be better. And that is why non-state actors, the civil societies, are the ones designed to reach to the grassroots. Now, yes, there could be things he's not happy about, but I believe AU has made a lot of progress. It's a matter of fact, that's why we're here, to still advance things. You understand? So sometimes they say when two elephants fight, it's the grass that will suffer. So we will have to also be careful how we either answer in affirmation or in disaffection concerning specific comments. You understand? But I can point out a lot of things, policies, even the development of Agenda 2063, which was championed by Nkosazana Zuma, the wife of Jacob Zuma, who was the AUC chairperson. It wasn't easy to have come up with something that legendary to start with, that has become a blueprint for us to drive. You understand? Just like, let me say, it's easy to criticize any government. When you look across really, you find out that a lot of gains and wins has been done. You understand, across the board. So I think that's where personally I would want to address.
Thank you so much for that response, Mr. President. In addition to that, and I'm sure my other colleagues will also speak to that, I am very passionate about building Africa, and then the more exciting thing about it is the fact that we're building Africa by Africans, because we have all that it takes. So when we say AU is not fit for purpose, I beg to differ. Why? We just say, okay, that we have decided to wake up now, to take up the challenge. Africa is quite rich. We have all that it takes, to build the Africa that we want by the year 2063. If the AU wasn't interested in the growth of Africa, they wouldn't have come up with the Agenda 2063 in the first place in 2013 when they said, oh, what should we do to move Africa forward? Are we satisfied with what we have already? And when the answer was no, we decided to say, okay, fine, let's have an agenda that will give us the Africa that we want in the next 50 years. And that was how we came up with the Agenda 2063. So I beg to differ that for anyone to say that the AU isn't fit for purpose. Africa is awake at this time. We are trying to take up the challenge to regain and to rebuild the African, to rebrand Africa to become that Africa that we all desire and that we all look forward to. And do we have any problems with that? No. Answer is because we have all that it takes to deliver on this. African continent is one of the richest continents on the planet Earth. And so yes, we're ready for this and we're equal to the task. I'm sure one of my colleagues or two will want to say something.
If I may step in, I would say that the president of Kenya is correct, and he's also incorrect. Why would I say so? There are many ingredients that make for successful diplomacy, makes for successful interventions. The role of non-state actors is very important. If you look at the United Nations, the reason why the UN is successful, quote, with regards to interventions is because you have a lot of collaboration from both state and non-state actors. In Africa, we have less, support from the non-state actors, and we also have less support from the government. Why I said it's correct and incorrect. Incorrect in the sense that the government has a role to play, the legislator. That's why we have Legiscorp now in place to help legislators know the relevant laws that should help to push for the achievements of the core mandate of Agenda 2063. That is why we are supporting. Now, the role of non-state actors is to enhance and make the work of legislators and executive arms of government more functional by bringing the aspirations closer to the people by virtue of policies. If the policies are not in place, you cannot implement. And so our responsibility is to ensure that nations of Africa put policies in place that fall in line with the aspirations of Agenda 2060. And these aspirations are not ambiguous. They are not ambiguous. They are very simple. You go look them up. They are relevant to all strata of human life, women, children, men, anything that has to do with business, agriculture. The Agenda 2063 blueprint is very straightforward. But as we speak, a lot of people do not know about Agenda 2063. Also, it is the government's responsibility to publicize Agenda 2063 for the success of AU. So the question we now ask and put to the Kenyan president and other presidents in Africa is how much work have they done to publicize Agenda 2063? It is gargantuan task to ask the AU to publicize her policies when the AU is made up of the nations of Africa. So the responsibility and the onus lies on the AU, not just the AU Commission, the AUC, but the AU, which is the committee of the heads of state, to ensure that they go back to their countries and publicize Agenda 2063. That's one. Number two, have special advisors on Agenda 2063, ensure that every ministry in their government collaborates with non-state actors to push the agenda and the mandate. So it's like you're pointing a finger and the four are pointing back at you. You understand? Because that you are now saying that the heads of state are not doing their job, in the AU. So I think it's a call to action. It's a call to action. I'm happy he brought that up. I believe that he is frustrated, and probably calling out his colleagues, as the case may be, in other nations to duty and to responsibility. And we believe that he would also do a good job in Kenya to ensure that the right policies are put in place. Because it's one thing to condemn, is another thing to be part of the solution. So I want to believe that having called out the AU as a whole, he would contribute his own quota from Kenya to ensure that AU is and the Agenda 2063 mandate is pushed. And I want to use this as an opportunity to also use him as a point of contact to other presidents and leaders of nations, within the African space to dig deep into the aspirations of Agenda 2063 to ensure that square pegs are put in square holes